Vocab Malone. I have a question for you. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So before I ask the question, I would like to play a video that was done by the brother Yashawamba from the Dallas camp.
Ecclesiastes 4:16, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have
been before them, so that they also that come after shall not rejoice in them. Surely this is also vanity and vexation of spirit. There is no end of all the people. Okay, the nations in the planet Earth that survived the flood that eventually led to the 18 nations, they're still here today. And the Edomites are one of them. Okay, and clearly they run the modern day Babylon.
So you heard it from, Mr. Malone here. He claims that the Edomites no longer exist. Well, Vocab Malone, if the Edomites no longer exist, then give me a time in history when Esau, who is Edom, was able to enjoy the dew of heaven from above. Because when you come over here to Obadiah, right, I'll just start at verse 3. Obadiah 1 and 3, it says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" Now if we come over here, right, it says, Obadiah 1 and 4, it says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, save the Lord." So, according to biblical prophecy, Edom, before Edom can be taken out of power, he will have to fulfill the prophecy of setting his nest among the stars. So, if Edom was done away with during the time of the Roman Empire, like you claim, then give me a time in history when Edom set his nest among the stars. Because this is talking about the actual stars that we see up at night. Okay? Give me a time when Edom set his nest among the stars. Give me a time when Edom set his nest among the stars during the time of the Greeks as well as the Roman empires. Give me a time when Edom set his nest among the stars when King Solomon and King David was in rulership. When all of the kings before, the kings of the nation of Israel was in rulership. Okay? Answer that question. When did when did Esau fulfill this prophecy of setting his nest among the stars? Because when you come back here to the book of Genesis 27 verse 39, it says this: "And Isaac his father said unto Esau, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above." So the dew of heaven, that's talking about the sky. That's talking about That's talking about of the sky and above the sky, which is where you get this, which is where the stars are at. Stars exist above the sky of the earth. Okay. So it says the dew of heaven. I want to look up the word dew as well as the word heaven. So here we have tal, the Hebrew word tal. Okay. It says dew. It says night mist. Okay, we got dew over here. Light rain. Night mist. It says taking place of our dew. Okay, and where do the rain come from? It comes from the sky, right? As coming from the sky. Okay. Okay, heaven gives it. Heaven gives what? Rain, snow. Okay, clouds. Okay, clouds distill it. Okay, so this is talking about where the sky is. So according to biblical prophecy, Esau would be blessed with being able to make the sky his habitation. Okay, as well as having the fatness of the earth, which is down here. Okay, let me see. Let's go to heaven. We see Shemayim. Okay, so the Hebrew word for heavens here is Shemayim, which means heaven, heavens, the sky. Okay, the sky. Okay, it says as abode of the stars. Now, what do we see up at night in the sky? Well, when we go to YouTube, right? Let's go to YouTube and let's type in outer space bunkers. Let's just come over here and see. Let's type in outer space bunkers. Alright, well, let's type in satellites above and beyond. Let's type this in. No, okay. Satellites in space. See how many satellites are in space. Okay. Okay. NASA live stream Earth from space. This is only possible from satellites.
Do you love boating? Well,
Okay.
Freedom Boat Club makes
Excuse
boating
the
easier
ads.
than ever. At Freedom Boat Club.
So this is basically the Earth from a satellite. And let me remind you that there are some people living inside these satellites. Okay? And what is the satellite doing? It is orbiting around the Earth amidst the stars. Wouldn't this not be an example of Edom setting their nest among the stars? Vocab? Would not satellites be an example of Edom setting his nest among the stars? Okay, And a matter of fact, let's prove that people live in these satellites. Let's see. Satellites in space. Let's see. People living in satellites. Life on station. Okay. How they eat, drink, survive in space. That's only possible if they're inside of a satellite, which can also be used as an outer space bunker up there amongst the stars. Okay, because these satellites also act as space stations. So people can control these satellites from space. Life inside the International Space Station. Okay? This is real, man. These are people actually living inside of satellites in space.
The brave men and women of the International Space Station are truly a special breed, but at the end of the day, they're just regular people going about their job.
Because what happens is that they actually need people to keep up with the maintenance of these satellites. Because if nobody is up there to keep up with the maintenance of the satellites, what happens? Eventually they'll start to deteriorate. They'll stop working properly. You see? Look at that, orbiting right around the Earth.
Human bodies did not evolve that.
Though thou set thy nest among the stars. And who do you see predominantly in these outer space bunkers, aka satellites?
And while it might seem from the internet that all they do up there is strum guitars and
you see predominantly Edomites.
Are rigorously itemized down to 5-minute increments by an ops planning team working at mission control. The day usually runs from 6 a.m. to 9.
Okay. Just real quick. Let's see. Oh. My bad. Hold on. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 1. Okay, it says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord concerning Edom. So when you read verses like Obadiah 1 and 4, 1 verse 3, and 1 verse 2, this is all talking about Edom. Okay? So there's a prophecy where it says that Edom will set his nest among the stars. So if the Edomites were done away with during the time of the Roman Empire, give me a time in history during the time of the Roman Empire and during the time of the Greeks when Edom was able to set his nest among the stars. Okay, I'm talking to you, Vocab Malone. Give me a time in history during the time of the Roman Empire and during the time of the Greeks, when Edom was able to set his, because you said it out of your own mouth that the Edomites were Greeks. Okay, and we all know that when the Greeks took down the Japhetic people that had control over Rome, okay, the Edomites started calling themselves Romans. Okay, but the original Romans was of Japhetic people. Okay, these Japhetic people were calling themselves Etruscans. So the original Romans were really Japhetic people. But what happened? When the Edomites, who were calling themselves Greeks at the time, when they came along and took down the Etruscans, right? The Edomites started calling themselves Romans. Okay? Okay, so give me a time in history give me a time in history when Edom set his nest among the stars, please. During the time of the Roman Empire or the Greeks. Since apparently they went extinct after the Roman Empire fell. Give me a time in history when Edom fulfilled prophecy during the time of the Roman Empire or the Greeks when they set their nest among the stars. Because you're not going to find no history on that. And a matter of fact, let's go to Google, right? Let's go to Google and type in, because I believe the Russians were the first ones to send satellites into space. Okay, let me see. Which also caused you so-called white people over here in America to launch satellites in space, because you saw that Russia was starting to get a bit too ahead of the United States of America. Let me see. When was the first satellite launched in space? Okay, it was 1958. Okay, the launch date was 1958. Okay, and it was known as Explorer 1. Okay, so Slovakia, earlier I said it was the Russians, but it was actually the United States of America who launched their first satellite into space. Okay, so it was the United States of America who launched the first the mission followed the first two satellites the previous year. Soviet Union Sputnik 1 Sputnik 2 began the Cold War. Followed the first two satellites the previous year. The Soviet Union Sputnik 1 Sputnik 2. Okay, so let's click on this. Okay, so the Explorer 1 so Explorer 1 was the first satellite launched by the United States in 1958. As participation in the International Geophysical Year, the mission followed the first two satellites. The previous year, the Soviet Union Sputnik 1 and 2, beginning the Cold War. Explorer 1 was launched on February, 1958. Okay, so wait, I might have actually been correct. The first two satellites was launched by Russia, as I said earlier. So Slovakia, I got a little confused there. Okay, so, but the United States launched their first satellite in 1958. Okay, and they launched it as a participation in an international geophysical competition. Okay. And which it was just a move during the Cold War to counter Russia's Sputnik 1 and Russia's satellites Sputnik 1 and Sputnik 2. Okay, and it was known as the Cold War space race between the two nations. Okay. So now, if you notice, right, let's go to Obadiah real quick, right? Let's go back to Obadiah chapter 1 verse 4. Okay, Obadiah chapter 1 verse 4, it says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars." Okay, which country is known for having the eagle as the animal or bird of their symbol? The United States of America. They're the ones that carry the pride of the eagle. So though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, talking about the United States of America, which is also known as Babylon in the Holy Scriptures, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, okay. Explorer 1 was the first satellite launched by the United States in 1958. Okay, that's an example of Edom setting their nest among the stars, which later those satellites would act as bunkers, so people could live in them and keep up with the maintenance on them. Okay, they will also act as stations up there. It says, "Thence will I bring thee down, save the Lord." So right after the United States of America launched their satellite into space, what happened? This country started to crumble financially. Right after the United States launched their satellite right up into space, setting their nest among the stars, that's when the Lord started to bring this country down financially. And as a matter of fact, let's go over here. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, let me see. After the U.S. launched their first satellite. After U.S. launched their first satellite, the country went into financial. The country. You see, the country declined financially. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's come back over here. Okay. The U.S. satellite launch cost they probably took it down by now. Caused financial crisis, satellite launches, and a recession, space and the financial crisis, the failure of several major financial institutions, others. Okay, the economic current crisis, recessions, wars. Okay, what I think it was of 19. History state. Why did launching this create a crisis in the U.S.? Okay, see, and you can just look into this yourself. You know what happened in 1958 about the space race. What was the most significant result? Okay, means Sputnik, which means satellite in Russia, was the Soviet entry in the scientific race in the launch. Okay, the U.S. entered space race by launching Explorer 1. Okay, the first United States satellite to reach orbit. So, what was the result? Let's see, United States much hype. 10 launches satellite into orbit, failed on December 6th, ending in an explosion. You know, and you could just look this up yourself. You know, right after the United States launched their satellite into outer space, that's when they started to that's when this country started to decline financially. Okay, so I mean, I don't have to necessarily look into it, but the point pretty much has been made, you know. Yeah, but yeah, vocab. I'm still looking for. I'm still waiting on the answer. Okay, give me a time when, you know, during the time of the Roman Empire and during the time of the Greeks. Give me a time when Edom set their nest among the stars. Since you claim they went extinct after the Roman Empire, which like the brother Yeshawamba brought out in Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes, the 4th chapter, okay? There is no end of all the nations. I don't know if it's 4 verse 6 or 4 verse 16. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 16, it says there is no end of all the people. So that means that every nation of people that was on this planet thousands of years ago, they're still here today. Why? Because there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in them. Surely this is vanity and vexation of spirit. So, yeah, I'm waiting on the answer, vocab. Okay. With that, I'm going to say shalom is on to the next one.